Now rocking with the best. Who's the boxing show that's knocking out the competition? The kick-ass podcast that make you want to listen. The place where boxing fans and fighters rejoice. Thumbs up for Richie, you're listening to the fighter's voice.
Gordo Zamuria. And you know what? Even though they're officers, man, I mean, they're talking a bunch of mess, man. And I'm going to have that exclusive interview. I'm going to sit down with both of them as we chop it up. And also in the house, we're going to have 2020 Olympian, and that's Richard Torres Jr., silver medalist, heavyweight. He'll be in attendance. He'll be signing autographs, and he'll be saying hello to everybody. And also, they got the official press conference April 22nd at 7 o'clock. It's going to be at Lucy's in the Tower District. So once again, I want to thank our sponsor. Thank you. I appreciate that. Now, we got all that out of the way. I want to get right to it, man. I want to introduce our guests. I mean, we got a great show for you this evening. We're going to talk about some upcoming fights this weekend with Triple G, Ryan Garcia. Andrew Maloney is coming back here with Top Rank Boxing. And we're going to talk about even Floyd Mayweather getting back in the ring in Dubai in the month of May. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce, first of all, world-class trainer. Needs no introduction. Future first ballot Hall of Famer, and that's Manny Robles, as well as former world champion Jamel Semperfi Herring. Welcome to the show, gentlemen.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Rich.
You know what?
Thank you for having us.
Hey,
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for accepting the invitation. Manny, I'm going to need your help. Before we even start the show, man, we're in California now. We got to get Jamel a Dodgers hat and a Dodgers shirt. I mean, he got to be repping with us. What do you think about that, Manny?
You know it. Go Dodgers.
Exactly. I like the Yanks. You know, they said it best on the movie. They always beat everybody because everybody's too busy looking at the pinstripes. But exactly.
That's a good one.
But at the end of the day, things reunite. It's like when you're with your girlfriend in high school, man. You know what I'm talking about, Jamel. You got that high school sweetheart, and then you go your own way. You start your own life. You know, you even start different families or what have you. But there's nothing like that first love, man. That trainer that's around you, that manager that's around you, that friend that never went away, and you guys are reuniting, starting that fire, that chemistry that never went away from the Olympics. And I'm looking at a picture right now. My gosh, I couldn't even believe that was Manny. I'm looking at it, and Jamel, bro, you look like Cali. We already talked about that. I mean, you're double. Well, he looks like, you kind of look like him. He's the older gentleman, but you guys look good together, man. And I'm glad you guys are putting together this masterpiece once again. I'm going to start with you, Coach. When did you get the call, or did you guys contact each other, or you just knew the chemistry was there?
Well, I would have to go back a couple of weeks. I received the call from JC, and talking about possibly getting together with Jamel and getting together for his next fight. So obviously I said yes. My pleasure. I mean, I was honored. Obviously grateful for the opportunity, and here we are.
Well, not only that, I'm not going to answer for you, but who doesn't want to work with somebody with their work ethic just through the roof? I mean, the guy is a gym rat. They literally got to pull him out of the gym. I mean, if he stays in the gym, Coach, he's going to drop down 2 weight classes.
No, it's incredible what Jamel's been able to do from the get-go as an amateur, as an Olympian, having a fight at 141 pounds, and then eventually, instead of you normally move up in weight, but what Jamel did was he came down in weight from 140, 141, 140 as a pro, 135, and eventually 130, and then becoming a world champion. It's just incredible. I mean, it isn't normal for a fighter to do what he's been able to do when he's been able to achieve as a fighter and as a human being, as a person, and as a world champion.
Exactly. And you know what? I had Jose Ramirez on, I'll say about maybe 3 months ago. And when I introduced him, I said former world champion. I really don't like to use that word former. And especially as you being a Marine, Jamel, there's no former at all. That you don't use that word. It's I'm gonna, you know, and Lee Samuels, boxing Hall of Famer, said it himself, Richard, once a champion, always a champion. So boxing world champion, Mr. Semper Fi, Jamel Herring. When did you talk to your advisors and say, you know what, this is going to be a perfect fit for me? Because you could have easily disappeared in the sunlight. You got a future in broadcasting. Good looking man, very articulate on the microphone. But you still have some left in your tank, and you have something to prove. Talk to us about what's going on with you, Jamel.
Well, yeah, like I said a few weeks ago, I was going through a change with my old team, and like I said, I spoke with JC, and like my first thought was, you know, let's give you know, Manny a call, because I've worked with Manny in the past. Manny was actually there in my corner when I qualified to compete in the Olympics, you know, down in Brazil, Rio de Janeiro. So, and he's always been a great supporter throughout the years. And I was like, and actually, you know, I did give Manny a call actually a few years ago by working. So when I had the opportunity again, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go shoot for Manny and go from there. And like even now, like we're not even done with that first week, but like, you know, I hit the ground running with him, and he asks every day, you know, how I'm feeling. Like, Coach, it's camp. You know, this is camp. So, yeah, like, you know, I'm going to, of course, I'm going to get through the aches and pains, you know, in the first week or so. But this is what I love to do, and I'm actually enjoying the atmosphere, and I love just seeing the other fighters within the gym motivate each other and push each other, because I feed off of others' energy. So it was just a great fit, and I'm just excited.
Man, you sound and look just like a kid in a candy store, man, and that's
Yes.
good. To rejuvenize yourself, and you've always kept yourself in great shape. And I'm gonna put you in the same category with the legend, and because this guy, I always watched what he put inside of his body. After his boxing prime was there, he continued to have another prime, and I'm talking about Bernard Hopkins. Age is just a number to you, Jamel. I mean, I'm looking at you, and my man, you're more shredded than some of these 20-year-olds. And Coach Manny, you can contest to that.
Absolutely. Jamel's an extremely dedicated boxer. Look, he wasn't, you know, named the team captain of Team USA in 2012 for no reason. You know, he should be an example to all fighters of what a fighter should behave in. His behavior and inside and outside the ring, it's just, you know, it's apart from everyone else. And you know, as Jamel said, I've always been a great supporter of him, and I'm very proud. I've been very proud of him since the get-go, from the moment he won the USA the USA Nationals. Forget about the Olympic Games. Remember Jamel, the Olympic trials.
Oh my, the Olympic trials, and then the reload.
Reload.
Yeah, that was some wild times, but you know, I had to push through it to get through it, and you know, to get where I wanted to be at. And I always think about, for me, where I came from. I never, even when I was a world champion, I never forgot where I came from and what I had to go through to get where I'm at. And that's the same mindset I'm at now. It's more of, okay, I know what it takes to be a world champion and to get to a world title, so I have that same hunger and drive even now.
Hey, that never goes away, especially, you know, the role model that you are. I mean, you know, a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And, you know, my nephew's a Marine. You know, shout out to Lauren Ortiz. And, you know, even when he comes around us, he just has that, you just have that mannerism. You just have that leadership quality that even though they listen to a captain and so forth, any Marine can step out of line and become a leader. So being that said, Jamel, I've never heard a negative thing about you outside of the ring, inside the ring. I hear guys say, man, he's just too pesty, man. And, right when you think you got him, he's swatting you. And I'm talking to some sparring partners. I'm not going to mention anything in any names or what happens in the gym. But, no, I mean, you're always in tremendous shape. You walk around ready to go, and you're having fun. I'm looking at a different side of Jamel Herring right now. You're doing some comedy. You're doing some acting in this broadcasting. My man, you definitely got a future in broadcasting, as well as.
Manny said the same thing yesterday. It's funny. He called me the jack of all trades.
there you go. I was looking at a picture of you when you were broadcasting, and you're happy. You're having fun, and I know deep down in your head you're saying, "I'm getting paid to do this." You do what you love. You never work a day in your life.
I love the sport, and it's always great to get paid for something that you love, and I just love being around it, whether it's inside the ring or on the outside of the ring, looking in. It's funny, me and Manny was joking about it today. He said Bates took his job from over there at Top Ring because he was commentating also. Then he was like, so I got
my job, man.
Shout out to Christina Pancha. I gotta let Christina know I took his job, but it's just always great to be involved in the sport, and I love it.
Well, I was about to say the same thing about Manny. Manny does a great job on the microphone. Actually, I had a gig, Manny. I remember I reached out to you just for your advice. Hey, what should I do? And you said, Richard, just be yourself.
Be yourself. That's it.
And that was the best.
You can't go wrong.
No, no, you can't. But see, I could tell you this: I would love to see the next fight with Christina Pacher, Jamel Herring, and Manny Robles all commentating.
That would be cool.
That would be cool. And we'll make a fourth seat for the fighter's voice, man. I mean, hey, I'll go in there and put my 2 cents in there too, gentlemen. But on a serious note, Jamel, you have a lot to prove. I mean, you could have said, okay, that's it. I got my Corvette. I'm happy. I got my man cave, my PlayStation before anybody else got it, and a wonderful career. But you have something to prove. When did you talk to your other half, or even talk to yourself and say, as if to say, hey, you know what? I'm not done with this sport just yet.
For me, it's funny. For me, it only takes me about like maybe a week or two. I started looking at the sport of boxing and looking at what's going on around me to motivate me. And I always thought about one of my favorite boxers growing up, which is Oscar De La Hoya. How he had all the money in the world at a young age that he could possibly make. I mean, he was actually one of the highest paid athletes other than a heavyweight at that time as well. But Oscar was always competitive, and he always had that hunger, and he always wanted to push and test himself. So when I look back at things of that nature, from like even guys like Bernard Hopkins, he was 36 years old, and he had his biggest victory against Felix Trinidad, and so on. That's what really pushes me now. It's not so much of like you pointed out, the material things and everything, but for me, I'm still in love with the sport, and I just needed I needed a different perspective, and like I said, Manny can contest to it. I come to the gym, I don't come in there as if like, okay, I'm just here and I'm going through the motions. Like, no, we'll talk about what we're about to do before the day starts, and we'll just get right to it, and we won't stop until we finish every round that's on the board. So for me, like I said, I'm just happy. I'm happy, and I know I have a lot to prove, but that's what makes it so exciting, because now I have something to work for. I have something to motivate me and to go out there and do.
Hey, and we're going to hear that in once again, or two-time world champion. And I truly believe that. Manny, you don't waste your time. I mean, time, you can get money back, but time you do not get back. So you're investing your time in Mr. Herring, because I know I'm going to take the words out of your mouth, because you believe in him.
Absolutely.
Where do you see this path exactly going? What's the game plan without giving too much away?
Well, Jamel's always, he's never been in a bad fight. Every fight he's ever been in has been a competitive fight, and I believe he has the potential to become a world champion again. Me
and you both. I really do. I'm Jamel. I mean, I was supporting him before he became a world champion. I remember when I bumped him the very first time in Fresno, my very words were, "Hey, how can I get you on the Fighter's Voice?" And then before you left, you said, "Hey, man, make sure we contact each other, and we'll make that happen." And that's after he won the belt, Manny. He's the same person, if not even more lovable, more likable, being a champion.
I appreciate that, Rich. Thank you, Rich. I mean, yeah, like I pointed out, I just always remember where I came from and what I had to go through to get there. I mean, Coach Manny was there even from the Olympic trials. Like I was on the last seed of the bracket. Like I wasn't supposed to be that guy, but you know, I had to get there with hard work, and I'm still the same way because and I also love supporting others who may be in a similar situation. Like even now, when I go to the gym for strength and conditioning, I just love seeing the kids, you know, working really hard to fulfill their dreams because you know I've been there, and it's always great to be in a position where you can actually be a positive role model as well, because you know I didn't have too many positive role models coming up, so you know just to speak with kids and see their faces light up just from you know giving a few words of advice, you know that's a victory in itself right there.
Well, you know what? Change is good. A brand new is good. Mixing it up is good. Because we can get to, I don't want to use the word stagnant, or I don't want to, you know, for granted, but change is always good. I mean, I personally, I welcome it. I embrace it. Even if it's something I don't want to do, like at my job, I embrace it. I tell myself, you know what? Tell yourself that you love it. And, I mean, the rest is history. Jamel, where do you see yourself for that title contention? A fight and a half from here? You know, taking on a big name, putting yourself right back in the mix, or are we kind of waiting to see what's going to happen with Oscar Valdez and Mr. Shakur Stevenson?
Well, you know, I spoke about promoters at Top Rank. Coach, big shout out to Carl Moretti and Todd DeBuff in the gang. But honestly, for me, it's really one fight away. But like Coach Manny said something very important to him today. We don't look at any fight as just a tune-up, because that's when you slip up.
Yep.
Every fight is a big fight. It's important.
You're in the playoff. You're in the playoffs already. You're in the playoffs right now. It starts.
Right, it starts. So you don't want to get complacent thinking, oh, let me just get past this fight and I'll get back to where I need to be. And no, I have to take every fight seriously. Every round, I have to bank in. I have to make every round count. I have to bank in every round. So right now, you know, because like I said, there are others who are, you know, boxing is a poor man's sport. So there are fighters out there who are hungry to take your spot. So you have to be, you know, you may think this is a tuna, but this other kid on the opposite side, he may think this is his lottery ticket. Exactly. So you have to be, you have to just remain sharp and stay focused on what's in front of you first.
I agree, and it's also good to have a great advisor / trainer and friend, a brother in Manny.
Yes, sir.
Manny, you know that it can just take one phone call. So it's your job, your responsibility to have Jamel ready, because you know you're going to take that phone call. I mean, right. There's nothing guaranteed in life. You know, you stay ready. You don't have to get ready. Who do you mentally prepare Who do you mentally prepare Jamel for out of all those champions? I'm not giving away your training method, but you must say to yourself, okay, in case we take this guy on, I'm going to have Jamel work on this. Are you just sharpening the tools, or are you just kind of going with his strength that he has already?
Well, as Jamel mentioned before, every fight is and as I mentioned, every fight is the biggest fight of your life. There's no such thing as a tune-up fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We more or less know who we're fighting next. And as you said, this is a kid's maybe this kid's lottery ticket. You know what I mean? This may be the biggest fight of our next opponent's career. So he's going to treat it as it was a world title fight, because this may very well lead him to a world title fight. So we cannot take anyone for granted. We cannot think that we're going into an easy fight. Never. And that's not the way I think. Every fight is the biggest fight, should be the biggest fight of your career. And this should be Jamel's biggest fight, because it's only going to lead to bigger things. You know what I mean? If we get through this guy, we get a shot at a world title. We get a shot at a world title, we win the title, guess what? Now you have to defend that world title. So the responsibility and it just gets bigger and greater with every fight. And so, there's no such thing as easy. So we work hard every day, every single day. We just started camp. Things are going great. We're getting along just fine. The chemistry, I feel that it's going well. We're blending in, and it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning of what might be something great. What might be Jamel's, hopefully, God willing, another opportunity to fight for a world title and win.
Another run in the division. Can you tell, without naming an opponent, I'm not going to ask you that.
I'm Rich.
Yes.
Rich, I just want to say something because you brought up a great point again. You said that to Coach Manny, you never know when you may get the call, right? It's funny because right around this time when I actually reached out to Manny about training me, I was actually in the running to get the George Kambosos fight, unsurprisingly. If Devin Haney had, because they were waiting to see, that everything was going on to see if Devin was going to sign or not. And I had got the call from my promoter, of course, and they had me on standby. So that just goes to tell you how quickly things can change, And even then, I still would have felt comfortable working with Manny, even with that fight, because of our past chemistry. So I know how Manny works and how he hits the ground. How he hits the pavement running. I mean, like, I was actually in New York because it was actually, maybe a week after I had won my first world title, and I was there when Coach Manny and Andy shocked the world against Anthony Joshua. I was there in the arena at the Garden, and that's basically a situation where Andy had got the call, and boom, life changing right there. So it would have played out, and I knew, Manny was also again the guy who knows how to make those quick adjustments. Okay, we were going to fight this person, but hey, we got to change things up now. We got to focus on this. And I know he would have got me, and in the best shape, and came with a great game plan even for that fight. Like I was willing to go to Australia and everything, but Haney of course signed, but that just told me that hey, if I can get the opportunity like that quickly again, imagine once I, go out here and win my next fight, it just may come back around. So that's what keeps me, again, motivated and just ready for anything.
Well, Jamel, I'm going to tell you this, and I don't have to school you or Coach Manny. Just because they've signed and a lot can happen between now and then. Heaven forbid, heaven forbid. Stay ready. Get your passport ready, my man.
Listen, I know anything happens in boxing, man. But right now, I'm just enjoying the time in the gym with Manny. And again, we're strengthening our chemistry. But whatever comes our way, I feel real good about being prepared and ready for anything that comes towards us.
Let's talk about that. We're going to reflect back, and then we're going to move forward, Manny.
Got it.
You with Andy Ruiz. I mean, there was only 3 people in the world. Well, I'll say 4, Jamel too, that believed that Andy was going to pull this off. Right. Yourself, Andy, Jamel, and myself. Because when Andy came on the show, I said, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to the future heavyweight champion of the world. And that's even before he got the phone call. Wow. Because the Bible says, call things if they're not as if they are. And they're in the archives, it's documented, and it just fell the way it needed to fall. So Jamel and Manny hooking up together, anything is possible. And it's a cliche to say that, but it is. Just because it's signed, have that passport ready. Hell, if it happens, I'm going to get my passport ready. I'm going to go watch and support down in Australia, my man. I mean, because anything can happen. But is there given a date to you guys? Okay, we're going to put you in the month of May or June or July, so the fans can look forward to watching you back in the ring, Jamel.
Right now we're locked in for May 21st.
Okay.
More likely it's probably going to be down in Las Vegas. So, like I said, I'm preparing. We got enough time, a good amount of time to strengthen everything now, and obviously weight isn't the issue. So right now we can just focus on the more important things, which is technique and a proper game plan.
Well, May 21st, is a beautiful day, I'm telling you, because first of all, it's my son Richie's birthday. So, I mean, you're going to have that special angel watching over you, man. And yes, absolutely.
Right on.
Appreciate that, brother. Yes, May 21st, something special is going to happen. You're going to see Semper Fi just take care of business with the assistance of Manny Robles. I'm looking at this chemistry, just you guys talking. I mean, you guys started chopping it up, and I'm sitting here becoming a fan, and I'm listening. I'm ear hustling here on the show. Because you guys get along so well. I can see that trust, and I could also look at Manny, and I see that excitement once again. Manny, you think about all the things that you've accomplished in the world, but again, you're not done. You're a visionary. You see him winning another title and making a second run under your wing.
By far, man, we're not done. We're just getting started. I love what I do. When you love what you do, you never got to work a day in your life. You know what I mean? So I enjoy what I do every single day. I'm at the gym every day. You know, I'm thankfully I'm pretty busy with, you know, other boxers. The last few weeks have been hectic, you know, been all over the place. And but now that luckily I have some good coaches that work under me, and you know, my strength and conditioning coach, my assistant coaches. And now that Jamel's in the gym, I have a few fights lined up, but I made it my priority to work with Jamel to get him ready for this fight. And I'm going to have to send my other coaches with my other boxers to travel to wherever they have to travel to, you know, make sure they get taken care of. And I'm sure they're in good hands. So my responsibility right now, my responsibility is always with all my boxers, you know what I mean, 100%. But I understand what's at stake. I understand that Jamel has a big fight coming up, and as I said, getting through this fight will only lead to bigger things, and we cannot treat this fight as an easy fight, as a tuna fight, because there is no such thing. To me, this is the biggest fight of Jamel's career, and I got to make sure that he gets to the fight in the best shape possible.
Jamel, did you know that, or even hearing it right now, and if you knew it already, how does that make you feel? I mean, listening to this, that you're the priority right now inside of that gym.
You know what? It's funny. I take it as things of that nature work hand in hand. Like, if someone is giving you all their time, I feel like it's up to me to also give him that same respect and give him 100% in the gym. Because again, you know, he's not only giving me his time, but he's making sacrifices from his own life. And like I said, boxing, you definitely have to make a lot of sacrifices. And it doesn't come from just the fighters. Like, the team around you makes sacrifices as well. So all that does for me is just you know, makes me go in the gym every day and give it 100%. Like I said, Manny is one of the most caring guys that I know, and he always asks me if I'm okay, and I'm like, man, coach, I'm good. Like, like he knows, like, I'm feeling a little aches and pains, you know. Of course, from the first week, from like, it's natural. You're only human, and it happens in boxing. I'm like, listen, I told him today, I said, coach, this is training camp. You know, these things I expect. Like, you have to prepare yourself mentally for these things. Like, boxing is, like, always says, 80% mental, 20% physical. So you have to even when I'm doing the workouts and the runs, I'm like, oh, my body is feeling it. But I'm always saying to myself, okay, I know when all I got to do is just push through it now. Or and the other side of me is thinking, well, what does your opponent think? Your opponent might be, you know, grinding and giving his all as well. And I don't like to feel like I'm being outworked and outdone. So that just motivates me and continues to push myself in the gym.
Well, hey, you know, I'm going to say this, and hey, iron sharpens iron, and it's okay to be motivated. Just think of all the people, not putting pressure on you, because you welcome pressure, Jamel, that once you walk in there, everybody that you motivate. And it's very competitive in that gym. I've never stepped a foot in there, but I could almost see, like, okay, freaking Jamel, I'm not going to let him outwork me. I'm going to be the hardest one in the gym. And it starts to carry on and so forth. And you have to say to yourself, Jamel, hey, you welcome it, you embrace it. This is who you committed yourself to be now that you have the supporting cast and somebody that's completely 100% in your corner. Now, speaking of making comebacks and doing well financially, Floyd Mayweather, back in the ring. So he says exhibition in May in Dubai. Now, let's talk about the business side of boxing. And it is a business. I mean, when will it go away? Do you just keep cashing in on that? When I say cashing in on that, do you keep having fun? Because to him, he does not have to do this at all. And he's having fun, Manny. When you see a fighter having fun, and he's not really strongly committed, but in this sport, exhibition or not, this man's, he's out to get you because you're the bigger name. What do you think boxing needs? Does it need more of this or less of this?
You're asking me?
Yes, Manny. Yes, I'm sorry, Coach Manny.
Look, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Floyd. You know, he's been one of my favorite fighters, one of the best fighters of all time, you know, without a doubt. And, you know, if people want to see him fight, if people are still eager to, you know, watch him fight and still want to pay to watch him fight, why not? Let him go make his bread, man. Let him make his money. You know, he's one of the best. He's still, I mean, obviously not fighting at a competitive level. You know, he's doing his what do you call these side gigs or
exhibition.
You know, but hey, people want to pay, go for it, man. You know, they want to see you back in that ring. By all means, go ahead. You know, and he's always been the type of athlete to take care of his body.
Yes.
You know, the guy doesn't smoke, drink, or drugs or any of that stuff of that nature. So, you know, he takes care of his body, man. He always has. And so it shouldn't be too hard for him to get back in shape. And you know, you see him at the gym from time to time in the back working out. So he takes care of himself. That's important.
Hey, I just asked the questions that come my way. I totally agree. This is great for the sport. Let the man continue to touch fans, because we always think about the fighter and say, okay, well, this fighter's greedy. He doesn't need to do that. What about the impact of the fans? I've never got a well, no, yes, I did. I went to Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather, and I also saw Floyd Mayweather in Fresno, California, against Taylor. But those who didn't have a chance to see him, they get their opportunity now. So I'm for it. I'm for this and for the fans. I always think about the fans. Now, let's talk about a fight that is taking place this weekend, and that's Golovkin, Triple G. I believe when he enters the ring, he's going to be 40 years old. But then again, he takes care of his body. How much of a mindset is it for you, Jamel, and for any fighter in the ring to focus on what they bring inside of the ring and not a number of an age?
It's definitely important because boxing is a dangerous sport. You don't play boxing. You have to be fully committed in that, especially in that ring, because anything can happen with just one punch. So, you know, I give credit. I give credit to Golovkin. If he's still up for it and he's actually competing at a higher level, at a world championship level, much respect to him. And I just wish him the best. Like, I'm a fan, so I hope we do see, you know, a glance of that old Triple G that we were accustomed to seeing when he first came on the scene.
You know, this is it was postponed the first time, and time is not on his side, but the lifestyle that he's living, rest is good. Wouldn't you agree, Manny?
No, not absolutely. But not only that, look who he's fighting.
Exactly.
You know, he's fighting Murata, Olympic gold medalist from 2012. Am I correct? Yeah, 2012.
Yeah.
Olympic gold medalist at 2012. And Murata is a game fighter. He's a world champion himself. And he's going to Japan. He's going to his backyard.
Yes, he is.
So it's not going to be an easy fight for either guy, for either man. But you got to tip your hat up to Triple G to, you know, having the courage to fly out all the way to Japan and fight the world champion in his backyard. That says a lot. And Murata's a great fighter himself. He's a very good fighter himself. So, you know, I'm sure I'm going to be tuning in to watch this fight for sure.
Jamel, how do you see this fight going?
Well, for me, I feel like I have to at least see the first couple of rounds just to see where Golovkin is at, both mentally and physically. But I believe if he's up for it and he has that fire, I think it's actually going to be a war because Murata, you know, he's another guy who likes to throw a lot of punches and likes to fight his opponents head on as well. So it's definitely not going to be a boring matchup. I'll tell you that much.
I agree. It should be a great fight.
I'm thinking who's going to take the first backward step, because these guys are going to meet right in the middle. The first round is going to be a banger. Like both men, they coach, they have to be warm in that first round. There's none of this. Okay, I'm going to take one and kind of feel them, move around, unless they keep their distance, of course. But no, you can't give rounds away on a fight like this.
No way, no warm up rounds. That's for sure. They're going to go at it right from the get go.
Well, let's talk about somebody who almost went at it. Was it yesterday? I believe it was today. No, or yesterday. Ryan Garcia, the return of Ryan Garcia. You know, he put all the mental part, behind him. You know, he's focused now, and everybody goes through these speed bumps. So I'm not justifying for him, or I'm not saying making excuses for him. At the end of the day, he signed up and he's fighting this Saturday. How much do you think is in the ring 100% Ryan mentally, Jamel? And how much is it just physically?
I believe he's mentally ready. Again, because this is Ryan Garcia. Despite what some may think about him, he's kind of had his way with everything going on within his career so far. So if he's actually finally getting in the ring, I believe it's because he wants to get in the ring. So I feel like he's ready. Despite all the other antics that we may see from him. But I think for him right now, it's just that he has more to prove to himself instead of worrying about everyone else out there. Because again, he says he wants to fight for a world title, and he's calling for the right now lightweight division is loaded, and he's calling for all those big names. So he has to basically prove it to himself that he's ready more than anything. But I think he should be fine this weekend.
Coach, it's another big move for Ryan coming back into the ring, but now he has a new corner, and Mr. Goosen. What do you look for right off the bat at the first round? What are you looking for? Not just his performance, but I'm talking about the coaching and the adjustment. Was that adjustment actually already taking place in the gym, or as the fight progresses?
Well, he's definitely has one of the best coaches in the business with Joe Goose.
Absolutely.
He's got a good track record. He's a friend. He's a great coach, great person, great human being, and I believe Ryan is in good hands.
Hey man, whenever I think of Goose, I always think about the Ruales brothers. I mean, them brothers, man. I mean, right? They brought it. Two hard-nosed kids, and he practically adopted them and adopted them inside of the ring. Right. I mean. The rest is history, man. He is in the history books, and he still has a lot for the sport. I think it's going to be a good union. I think it's a good fit for him. Both are hungry, and he's hungry to teach. And Ryan, it looks like he's hungry to learn. That's always been his thing, or when I say his thing, of what people say, what the media says, the press, or the namesayers. But he looks like he's ready to receive and take that step of maturity.
Yep. It sure seems that way, and let's hope he's able to perform come Saturday night and do his thing. You know what I mean?
Jamel, do you see any speed bumps for Ryan this weekend, or is he going to be in a competitive fight? Is he ready to make the adjustment? What do you think?
If there's any speed bumps, it's because Ryan will be his own worst enemy at the end of the day. It's up, like I said again, it's up to Ryan to be mentally strong and prepared for this matchup, but. In terms of skill wise, I don't see any speed bumps in that department. I think, like I said, again, it's all determined on what Ryan wants to do when he gets in that ring and where he goes from the opening bell.
Well, I think if there's any hangups, Goosen's gonna nip that shit by the butt off the bat. Because if he sees it in the dressing room,
he was in the corner one of my favorite fights that I still watch to this day. Corrales, Castillo won. That's I think that's probably on everyone's list. But definitely that fight is actually saved in my phone, and I'll watch it from time to time just to see from all different aspects in terms of the grueling matchup from the opening bell, and being what a real champion has to go through in terms mentally, being put down twice in what the 10th round and. Going back to the corner, and you heard what Joe say. You better get inside of him now. and then going from there and winning it big. So, I mean, a lot of aspects just played in that one, just pretty much in that one round. So like for me, like with Ryan, he just has to go out there and just be the best version of himself first, and and seal it, and then move on from there.
You know what, Goose? I'm gonna say it. He's a badass. When you see him walking through Vegas with that white Levi jacket, his hair just kind of partially feathered. I mean, he's just he's arrived. He has like that aura around him, in his own right.
That's right.
And there may not be a red carpet there, but in his mind, there's a red carpet there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's that mindset. I thought he did a great job with Chris Ariola and continue to do a good job to fine tune these fighters.
So many fighters. He's had a lot of great fighters that he's been able to work with. Like I said, he's got a great track record, and I believe Ryan's in good hands with Joe Goosen. That's for sure.
He sees the good out of every fighter. And I'm gonna do this comparison with Miguel Cotto in the second half of his career. Freddie Roach was able to pull all those attributes out of Miguel Cotto, and he made one hell of a second run. A very close fight, too, with Canelo.
Yeah, that was a good fight. Definitely a good fight. He gave Canelo a decent fight.
Yes, he did.
Definitely gave him a good fight. And that was all, Freddie Roach, as you said, brought out the best in Miguel Cotto the second half of his career, and he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Definitely. Invading Vegas right now is the Maloney brothers. Angel Maloney returns to action this Saturday, Top Rank Boxing. Are you familiar with the Maloney brothers, Jamel? And if so,
oh yeah, those are my guys. Those are my guys.
What does it take for both of them brothers to get back into that title picture?
They just have to continue keeping that hunger, and like I said, they have a great team. I also know their team as well. I mean, like I said, these guys, these are individuals. One brother fought NOA, and the other one had his own battles as well with the likes of Joshua Greer. So yeah, and so like these guys, they have what it takes, and they know what it takes to succeed at that top level. I mean, even myself, I've been through it when I felt defeat to Dennis Shavkov, but instead of taking it as just a loss, I took it as a lesson, and I fed off it mentally on what I had to do as a fighter to get back to that level, and not only that get there, but get over that hump. So I believe they're in the same position where, okay, now they know what they have to do in order to get back in the title picture, but they're not far from it. I mean, these are also guys who think sacrifices are coming from Australia to the States. So they have a lot on the line, and I'm pretty sure they know that.
Coach, they're in a tough division. I mean, you still got Bam Rodriguez. You got Joshua Franco. The brothers, and that division is not going anywhere. But because of their work ethic, I don't see the Maloney brothers going anywhere except towards a world title shot. Given that opportunity in that second time around, what adjustments would you give a fighter to make on his second going? I know it has to be different mentally once you have the title or you've had that title opportunity, but you get a second opportunity. What does it do to a fighter mentally, and what adjustments do you need to make going into that second opportunity?
Jamel said something that was very important. He learned a lot from one of his defeats, and as I always say, you either win or you learn, and you learn more from your defeats than you do from your victories. So I believe that the Maloney brothers learned a great deal from their last defeats. I believe that you'll see better fighters now. You'll see a couple fighters that are a lot more mature, and they're only one or two fights away from possibly getting a title shot, and they can definitely give anybody a run for their money. Now the division is stacked, but every weight class is stacked.
It is.
Look at it, man. And you got to show respect for every single world champion in every weight class or every sanctioning body. I mean, boxing isn't going anywhere. Boxing's just as big as it's always been, and it's competitive. It's competitive. If you look at Jamel's weight class, 130, it's competitive. 135, as you mentioned, with Ryan Garcia and everyone else in that weight class. 140, 147, 126, it doesn't matter. Every weight class is stacked. And if you want to if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. You know,
Right.
getting back to the Maloney brothers, they're good kids. I know them myself. Even they came to my gym, you know, for a training camp. Even before they fought for world titles, and they, you know, respectfully won a world title. So they're great kids. You know, they're eager to get better. That's why they come from Australia to the United States, you know, to get better, to grow, to mature. You know, if you want to be the best, you got to come to America, and they're willing to take that chance. You know, this just happened to me a couple of weeks ago with Tenzu versus Taraguche. Tenzu was his home, you know, first time fighting here in the United States, and guess what? He got dropped in the first round by Taraguche. We were ready. We came to fight. We came to win. You know what I mean? Nobody
Yep.
gave us a shot. And yet, you know, this kid, you know, they make him out to be just like his dad, Casatu. He's a great champion, and he's got some big shoes to fill.
Yep.
And now he comes to America, you know what I mean? And he fights someone like Taraguche. You better be ready, you know, because we're coming to get you. And, you know, we obviously we lost the fight, but we gave him a run for his money. And he, you know, I'm proud of my fighter for leaving it all in the ring. And I know Tim Tszyu learned a lot from this fight, getting robbed for the first time ever in his career, you know, having to come back from behind to come back and win the fight. I mean, it was a friendly fight, and I'm sure everyone appreciated the fight. I appreciate the fact that they both left everything in the ring. And that's how you get better. That's how you become one of the best, by fighting the best. You know what I mean? And sometimes it doesn't necessarily like that, as we talked about before. You should never treat a fight as a tune-up fight, because that's when it'll come back and bite you in the ass. Every fight is a big fight. Ain't no such thing as easy.
I agree with you. Right now, boxing is on fire. Boxing is in a great. It's stacked. Exactly.
It's always been on fire.
I know this, but there was that one transition because we didn't have a heavyweight champion or a heavyweight division when the UFC was taking over, and they weren't taking over. They were just adding to the sport, I would say. I want to talk about the 140-pound division just for a second. Jose Ramirez, Fresno native here. Mm-hmm. There's no easy fights. When I started thinking about Jose getting back in that title picture, and when you made reference, Jamel, like, hey, every fight is a title fight. You're on track. The playoffs already started. And even with Jose, you know, there's talks of possibly rematch with Zepeda in LA. If that happens, that's not an easy fight. You got Regis Prograis, Arnold Barboza. I mean, Teofimo's moving up from what I'm hearing. Right. If Josh Hader does vacate, that division is stacked. What?
I mean, he just fought a former world championship.
Yes, he did.
On his comeback fight. So there's no easy road or no easy route in that division. But Jose's game, and we were actually roommates during the Olympic trials when we first met. So I know the mindset that he brings to the table, and I know, you know, Jose is not one to turn down any fight. If it gets him to, like, say, he wants to be a world champion again. So I know he's going to do whatever it takes to get back into that world title picture.
Manny, you've always been a supporter of Jose Ramirez. What did you think about his last fight? And I'll tell you what I thought.
I thought he fought a good fight. I thought he fought a great fighter. You know, definitely a top 10 fighter. And yeah, I remember him from the 2019 World. You know, I'm sorry, the 2009 World Champions in Milan, Italy. You got to mention and say his name again. His last opponent, Jose Ramirez's last opponent. What's his name? Pedraza. Yes, he won. I believe he won a gold medal, if I'm not mistaken. Silver. He medaled in the 2009 World Championships in Milan, and I had the pleasure of being there. You know, working with the national team, and he's definitely a game fighter. Definitely, you know, fought Lomachenko, gave Lomachenko a run for his money. Yeah. Now with Jose Ramirez, gave him a good fight. Jose Ramirez.
Coach, I thought Jose won that fight at the World. We was all there together. 2011 World Championships, Jose fought Lomachenko. I thought Jose pulled
Oh,
that.
I
It's on,
know
man. It's
that.
on,
You know,
it,
remember
it,
that?
it was at the, it was at the, we was
Jose's corner when he called him
that was a
That's
good
right.
fight. That
For
fight is
reminding
on
me.
YouTube. Yeah, it's on YouTube somewhere. Matter of fact, but
Yeah.
I thought it was a good fight. But I thought Jose, squeezed it out because I remember him even had to play catch up against Lomachenko over there, and Jose just never stopped coming. He just had that dog. He just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I was like, yo, this kid's gonna be something, definitely gonna be something special. And I remember after the Olympics, me and Jose were actually, we were actually still call each other, and he was, I remember him making a decision on either if he would go to Golden Boy or Top Rank, because like I said, Jose was also big on Oscar De La Hoya. You know, he wanted to be the next Oscar, so and I always share my opinion with him, and we've always remained great friends since then. But I'm just happy to see that he came back. He got a good victory, and as a fan, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next.
I love the fact, Manny Jamel, that he didn't take a round off to figure out a southpaw. He figured him out in the first round because he's always had a little concern with southpaws. He'll give a round away just to try to sometimes play catch up like he did with Cepeda, but he won the championship rounds. He adjusted right off the bat. He saw everything coming. It's like he was fighting a right-handed fighter. This was the most successful that I've seen Jose look against a southpaw fighter, and definitely a top 10 fighter. And Pedraza did come to win the fight. Unfortunately, that pressure Jose brought in. I love the head movement early in the rounds, the adjustments that he was making, and I'm very impressed with Jose, and I'm excited to see his next fight. So, being that said, we know what Rick Meridian did when Jamel Herring came to Fresno. My man, it was like Apollo Creed coming inside of the ring on Rocky. I mean, that entrance, Jamel, I mean, that has to be on the top of your list, if not the top.
Oh yeah, shout out to Rick. He actually called yesterday. I missed his call. I was working out, but he called yesterday. But Rick is definitely one. He does above and beyond for his fighters, so I give Rick a lot of respect. And that was definitely a great entrance. I don't know since then. I don't know how to top it. It's funny. Actually, both of my best entrances were in Fresno. My first one when I fought Marade, when I had all the Marines lined up in the entrance, and then the second one again was with the Humvee. So yeah, both of my best top entrances were pretty much with in Fresno, which is funny. But I'm just right now. I'm just looking forward to getting back for myself in that title picture and seeing guys like Jose, Terrell, JoJo, Marcus, all my fellow Olympians.
2012.
2012 brothers and sisters. Shout out to Clarissa and Marlon as well. But yeah, just seeing those guys continue to push and keep that hunger it only motivates me.
Manny, the last time I talked to Rick and your name was brought up, he has nothing but great things to say about you. Actually, you're training a couple of his fighters, and he just said, Richard, this is one of the most underrated trainers in the sport today. He said nobody is going to outwork Manny Robles inside of the gym or not do their homework, that you always come prepared and you have your fighter prepared. When you hear that, how does that make you feel, Manny? Is that something you already know, or is that just something that just adds to the repertoire?
Man, I love what I do, like I said, and I try not to pay too much attention to, what people have to say, because at the end of the day, it's an opinion. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I do respect Rick a whole lot. We're friends, and I appreciate him. Being the friend who he is, the friend that he is, and obviously, we have good we have a good relationship, and but at the end of the day, it takes work, man. You got to show up every day, just like the fighter does. And one way to get a fighter to respect you as a coach is you got to work just as hard as he does. You got to show up every day. You got to want it just the same way he does. You got to be eager to learn and get better, energetic and happy, and just sometimes things don't always go your way, and my fighters know who I am and they know what I'm about. Win, lose or draw. You're gonna find me at the gym. We fight on Saturday. We fight on a Friday. You're gonna find me at the gym on Monday. You know what I mean? I don't take breaks. I don't take vacation. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
No matter what the outcome is. You know, when Andy Reese won the world title, I was at the gym on Monday. You know what I mean? It
Yep.
doesn't change for me because I have other fighters that depend on me, that can count on that are counting on me. I don't care if you're making $1,000 or $1,000,000. You know, your fight is important to me. You know, and that's all that matters. You know, you're why? Because your fight as a fighter, as an individual, your fight that's a you know that's the biggest fight. As I said, every fight is the biggest fight of your
Yep.
career. You may be a 4 round fighter. You may be making your pro debut, but that's important to you.
Yes.
That it means the world to you. If it means that much to you, it means that much to me. You know what I mean? This ain't And as I always tell my kids, especially the kids that are up and coming, don't ever think about money. Don't let money get in between, your hopes and your dreams, and that's gonna come later, man. You gotta be willing to put in the sacrifice, and all of that extra stuff, all of that money, fame, and glory will come into place. But you gotta be able to put in work. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody gonna give you nothing. Nobody's gonna give you anything, nothing at all. You gotta work for it. And I haven't. The way I see it is I haven't accomplished anything. You know what I mean? Why? Because I'm not done. I'm passionate about what I do. I love what I do. You know what I mean? And with that said, I have nothing but the utmost respect for every all the coaches out there. I believe I have a great relationship with Robert Garcia, with Abel Sanchez, with Joel Diaz, with Freddie, including some of the best coaches in boxing, because I know where they come from. I know where they came from. I know their humble beginnings and where they are today. And look at them. Look at the way they behave. Look at their behavior. Look at the way they carry themselves. They're gentlemen. They stay humble. They stay grounded, and they're great people. And that's the beauty of the sport, man. Look at fighters like Jamel. He's not done, and he's obviously a pleasure to work with. I've known him for so many years, since before the Olympic Games, and I'm a fan. You know what I mean? It just happens that now I'm working with Jamel, so
Yep.
you got to treat it a little bit differently now. But I've always been a fan. I was probably one of the happiest individuals when he won that world title, man. It's just like, to me, it was like, that's my boy. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? Just Jose Ramirez and everyone else that's on the 2012 team. They're all my boys. Errol Spence, everyone, because I got a chance to work with every single one of these kids as amateurs, and for them, and then for me to eventually see them, become successful in boxing, and some of them win world titles, or some of them, may not have won world titles, but they fought for world titles.
Yeah.
They got that far. Where most fighters don't even get that far.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And to me, it's a huge accomplishment for every single one of them. And I'm happy. I'm happy to see them where they're at. And I saw Jojo Diaz not too long ago, man, and some fights. And I think it was at the Galen Center, and a few weeks ago. And I saw him in the street. He was somebody said hello. Hey, there goes Jojo, man. I seen that kid, man. I gave him such a big hug, man, because I miss him. We go way back from the amateurs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's something that most people don't understand. But
The
love
relationships.
that you have for these kids, and watching them grow up as kids, you know what I mean? And then eventually, win nationals and win tournaments and make the Olympics, and eventually become successful as pros. That's a huge accomplishment, man. And I gave him a big hug, and I know that he felt the same way I did, because you feel that
Yeah.
energy. And
Right.
and
corazón.
one thing I made sure I said, hey, give your pops a shout out for me. You know what I mean? Give him my tell him I said what's up. Big Joseph Diaz Senior, because he was part of the struggle. You know what I mean? He raised this kid
Yeah.
from the amateurs. You know what I mean? And I saw everything that he did, and that he put behind, to all the sacrifices that they made to get to the national tournaments. People don't understand. Sometimes you get to these amateur tournaments, these national tournaments, where you're broke, man. You got to share a room with 10 other people. You know what I mean? And you got to get there by any means necessary, even if you have to drive halfway across the country. You know what I mean? To get to these tournaments.
Yeah.
And you know, take sick days from school or from work to make the sacrifices that you make to make it this far. It's incredible, you know. And then eventually see them, you know, be this successful. Come on, man. It's just it's definitely gratifying.
I can tell in your tone and in your voice, man, you love it just as much as they did. And when they won the bout, a piece of you won the bout as well. Jamel, I never had a chance to congratulate you on your book. I'm trying to get it, man, and it's like, okay, you got to know Jamel Herring or something. I'm trying to wait one. I'm trying to put it up here in the background right here. Jamel Herring, the book.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. For me, it was something like everyone kept just asking me to do it, and I felt like I still had so much more to do in just in life in general. But people just felt that they just wanted to just hear my experience from everything that I've been through in life to where I'm at now. And I was like, you know what, I'll give it I'll give it a go. So when I got the response I got from it is still shockingly overwhelming. But you know, I'm just grateful. And you know, in the book, I speak about not only boxing, but my upbringing. You know, what I had to go through, where I come from. Shout out to everybody back in Quorum, New York, of course. But you know, my military experience, getting through the Olympic trials, me being with Manny also just as one of the team captains alongside Rashid Warren. Oh yeah, Rashid said what's up, Manny. He said hit me up yesterday. He said what's up, Rashid Warren. You know, Queen Underwood, and it's crazy. Just being a Marine plays a huge role in my life, because even till this day, I still find myself checking up on each one of those individuals that we spoke about on an Olympic team, and I'm happy to still have a great relationship with each and every one of them. But yeah, I mean, I just you know, I'm just humble. I'm just humble, and I'm grateful to where I'm at now. And I never, like, again, I never said it before, but I just never forgot where I came from. Even though some out there always say that, you know, I've done so much that I don't have to prove anything anymore, or you know, I don't owe anyone anything. But I just feel like, you know, it's just who I am, and I feel like it's my responsibility to go out and continue inspiring the next generation.
Well, all you got to do is write some more chapters to that book, because the book's not done.
Yeah, right.
It's not done yet. Real quick, Manny, if you were to write a book, what would you call it?
If I was to write a book, oh man, I don't know. I don't know, honestly. If I was to write a book, it'd probably be about my dad. You know, he's my hero.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we spoke about that
I wouldn't
the
be
last time
writing
you
a
were on the
book
show.
about me. I'd be writing a book about my pops.
I agree with you. Same here as I think about my son, which is still an inspiration today, is why we're sitting down and having this show
That's
today.
right.
One thing I am so grateful about is from Mr. Jamel Herring and Manny Robles is the support that I get from you guys. I'm going to post a picture right now. I mean, I want that picture of them rocking the Fighter's Voice gear, man. I mean, I appreciate that, man. I mean, you guys always do it, and then some. And then I find out sometimes you just wear it and don't even tag me. You're just doing it. I mean, you're just rocking it, and it looks good on you. That logo is blasting on you, Jamel, Manny. It looks like a great fit, man. It's a part of you now.
Appreciate that.
So I appreciate that.
Like I said, we appreciate you, Richard, because you support us just as much as well. So that's what it's all about. I'm all about, if you give me the same love and respect, I'm gonna give it back to you as well. No
100.
Well,
Yes, sir.
Well, thank you. It's very easy to get along with two likable individuals, gentlemen. You guys, it's funny we talk about the book. You guys wrote the book on how to conduct yourself both inside and outside of the ring.
Appreciate that.
I want to thank both of you guys for sharing your stories, for your take on some of the fights that are coming up. I'm going to start with you, Jamel. How do we stay in contact with you? How do we follow you? What's your Instagram? What do we got going? I know you're all over social media now and making it even a bigger name for yourself. How do we support you?
Everything at Jamel Herring, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I keep it real simple on that level. And of course, Rich, you know, I'm easy to talk to. So if anyone reaches out to me, when I have the time, I do reach back out and make sure that, I try to get back to everyone. But I appreciate everyone who does take the time to continue to support me. And just stay tuned. ESPN, May 21st.
Hey, you heard it. Manny, how do we support what you're doing, man? How do we follow you?
You can find me on manual.boxing. Pretty easy. Simple. You'll always find me there. Instagram, Facebook. So, yeah, that's where I'm at, and it's easy to find me. Just come to the gym and you'll find me there every day. If I'm not there, I'll probably be working a fight.
Exactly. Yeah, you got that one? But wait, I want to talk about this real quick before I do that. And Jamel does answer his phone. He does look at it. I told the story last time. Jamel's live on ESPN, right? And I go, oh, okay. So I got the phone. I said, hey, what's up, champ? And you see Jamel on live TV. He goes, oh, okay. he did that. And I was going, that was me, guys. I'm the one that did that. So I go, I'm going to call him on that. So definitely. Guys, I had a great evening last night. My granddaughter came to visit me, Sienna, and she's calling me on the way to the show. She goes, Papa, I want to come over again. And I said, baby, I'm on the way to the show. I said, but I tell you what, I'm going to put your picture on the screen, and I'm going to give you a big shout out. So I want to do that right now. That's my beautiful granddaughter, Sienna. I love you, baby, and I'll see you when I get home. Yeah, Sienna, beautiful, heartbreaker. And, she's my heart, and she keeps me going. And she came at a special time, I tell you, guys. And when I thought I couldn't take another forward step, she came just in time to hold my hand spiritually, mentally, and physically, man. So big shout out to my granddaughter, Sienna.
Much respect to Sienna.
Yeah. So
likewise.
Hey, Manny, when you own the show, Jamel, when you own the show, you can do things like this.
That's right.
Listen, guys, I want to thank you guys once again, man. We'll talk some more right before your fight.
We could do things like this.
Oh, absolutely.
Shout out to my two little good friends out there, Boog and Mook. I gotta give them a shout out there as well. Those are my since we can do it. Those are my two special little guys out there back in Long Island. So shout out to Boog and Mook.
Jamel,
we'll play Xbox when I get back.
Jamel, we got a bigger list than that. There's some more. Show some more love.
Hey, I can't think about it right now, but I'm coming back anyway. So when I do, we'll give out more love. But I have to get out to shout out to my two little guys out there.
Absolutely, Manny, your turn, man. Show some love here.
And I have everyone I love right here with me. I got my wife right here with me. So shout out to my wife. She's
is she giving you the 1,000-yard stare?
Shout out to my wife, man. She's right here. She knows I love her with all my heart. So that's all. That's the only shout out I'm sending.
There you go. Very smart man. She's telling you, "Ya estuvo, that's it. Cut it. It's time to go." Well, this is the best part of the show right here, guys. As always, I want to thank our guests, and it's a wrap. Thumbs up for Richie.
Right on.